Despite being one of the most iconic characters and one of the most famous and most recognizable in Greek mythology, not everyone knows the tragic story behind his origin. The myth of Medusa is a story of injustice and cruelty on the part of the gods toward a girl who had to pay a high price because of her beauty. Medusa was a beautiful maiden. She was so beautiful that she aroused love and desire in all the men who saw her. However, none of them could ever possess her, because the young woman had been ordained as a priestess in the temple of Athena, goddess of wisdom. Reason why, she had to always remain virgin and pure. She is the daughter of Phorcys and Keto, two marine deities. Medusa's beauty was so legendary that she attracted the gaze of the gods themselves, especially Poseidon, lord of the seas, who had become obsessed with the idea of making her his. He had tried to seduce her on countless occasions, but he was always rejected by the girl. He insistently continued to try to make her fall in love with him, but she always rejected the advances of her god. Until one day, feeling unappreciated and maybe thinking about who she was, a mere mortal rejecting a god, she decided to possess her by force. The poor girl, horrified by Poseidon's intentions, fled and sought refuge in the temple of Athena. However, it was of no use since it was no impediment for the god to enter the temple. The young woman's prayers to her lady were useless. Once in the temple, Poseidon, without any compassion, raped the poor Medusa. After the horrible act was over, Athena herself appeared at the temple, enraged by the offense committed in the temple consecrated to her. Such an abomination had to be punished. However, instead of punishing Poseidon, the goddess unleashed her anger on poor Medusa. Her curse was that no human being would ever look at her face again. Since anyone who sees her directly, she would be turned into stone instantly, as if this punishment wasn't enough. Aphrodite made her hair turn into poisonous snakes. Once converted into that terrible monster, the young woman was banished to the Hyperborean lands. Shortly after, it was discovered that Medusa, a product of the rape, was pregnant with Poseidon. Fact that she only increased Athena's anger. She is looking for revenge. She sent the hero Perseus in search of her to kill her. To help him in such a difficult job, the goddess gave Perseus a sword, the flying sandals of the god Hermes, the helmet of invisibility of Hades, and a shield so polished that it looked like a mirror with which he could see Medusa without having to look at her directly. On his journey, Perseus visited the Grace, three old and horrible sisters who shared a single eye to see. Those who were so old and wise that they could answer any question asked of them, no matter how difficult it was. They told him that the only way to kill Medusa was to decapitate her. Once in the creature's lair, Perseus waited for it to fall asleep, and using the flying sandals and Hades' invisibility helmet so as not to be seen, and once close enough, and using the shield to not look directly at it, he took up the sword, and with a single accurate blow, he cut off the Medusa's head. It was no heroic act. It was no epic battle between the hero and the monster. It was simply a cowardly and silent murder. From the wound in her neck, her two children were born, the winged horse Pegasus and the giant Chrysaor. On his return, Perseus had more adventures, like saving Princess Andromeda from the Kraken or getting revenge on King Polydectes. But that is part of another adventure. Finally, Perseus gave the head of Medusa to Athena, who put it on her shield forever. Another version of the story tells us that Medusa was actually the daughter of Typhon and the Echidna, and that she also had two sisters, Euryale and Esteno, and that together they formed the terrible triad of the Gorgons. However, Medusa, the youngest of the three, was the only one that possessed human characteristics. Since her other two sisters had snake hair and tails, bronze claws, enormous ivory teeth that came out of their mouths, and golden wings. And now, what is your view on Medusa? Is she still the horrible monster that turns you into stone just by looking at you? Or is she a victim of the injustice of capricious and merciless gods? Leave me your answer in the comments. If you liked the video, please subscribe, activate the notification bell, give me a like and share it. Thank you very much, and it will be until the next adventure.